Gonna have to vary the background music settings, I think, relatively often in this game. Alright, time to run around and chat with literally everybody. Hello, Sheeta. Oh. Oh yeah, we were asking for the recipes, so awesome to get them. Very nice, very nice. Everybody's so welcoming and like hospitable here. It seems kind of strange, really. Oh. I was gonna say, looking forward to it, definitely. Let's just see here. Alright. I'm sure we're in good hands. Gaius is a pretty capable dude in general, but having him on essentially home turf, I imagine he's about as good as he's ever going to be. Oh, I wanted to feed the horses. Alright. Everybody's got a job to do. It's interesting whenever they depict... Whenever... I shouldn't say they, right? It's kind of a operative word here. Whenever there's a depiction of, like, kind of nomadic lifestyles, sort of rustic life, if you will, it's always kind of interesting to see the role of children and the fact that everybody sort of is required to keep the whole machine going, if you will. I was gonna say, as far as I can tell, it seemed like it was pretty good sleep. Watery. Got orbment lights in a truck, but other than that, we basically live like people did hundreds of years ago. Yeah, so it's sort of like... It's a... I wouldn't say... People often describe it as simpler. I would say it's almost like a... harsher way to live, in a way. But it certainly does simplify your priorities, I suppose.
Look at all the sheep here. Watching them makes me feel so content.
I never really got that impression from sheep, but... I mean, they're fluffy. There's that. I can talk to one of them, it seems. But yeah, what I mean to say is that it's sort of... interesting that everybody is focused on trying to make sure everything continues to... work as their primary priority before anything else. Still can't ride a horse despite being 5 years old. Oh, that's... Do 5-year-olds usually ride horses? I guess maybe they do here. Yeah, I was gonna say, that is a little young. And yeah, I mean, I imagine, yeah, it must be important to your day-to-day life to be able to ride a horse. Rumors about the people of Nord's proficiency with horses seems to be true. Well, I imagine it's part of your livelihood. That's what I mean to say, right? Is that this... You need to be able to do and contribute to pull your weight, because otherwise... Because the society requires everyone to do their part to keep the little community functioning. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. Ooh. Khotan's... learning from his father about how to do medicine. I take it this is the father in question? Amir? I don't know if... It's a little hard to say how it's pronounced with just the one syllable, or... Is it one syllable? It only has the one vowel, so... Alright. The settlement of doctors of sorts. Sounds like a tough job, yeah. Be the only one here to fill a position. Yeah, what happens when you get sick? I imagine so. I mean, a community this small sort of, again, needs all hands on deck, so you need to make sure everybody stays healthy. Glad to hear it. Yep, some medicine for the horses. Okay. I guess, I mean, same idea, right? The horses are pretty integral, so... It's interesting, though, that this is a guy who not only knows like veterinary medicine, but is also taking care of the people who live here. Yeah, are the horses ill? A vaccine to prevent certain diseases that horses here can catch. And you're using a medicinal herb to make it? That's usually not how vaccines are made. Is it... That seems like a weird way to explain it. It probably would have been easier to just say it's sort of like an immune system booster, right? Because that's certainly something you could get from like herbs. It's an endemic disease then. And spreading are always the highest in the summer, caused by the intense heat. Ugh, phone's gone off. Ugh. It's dangerous enough to be fatal if we leave it alone. So there's like a disease that shows up in the summertime, specifically that affects the horses. I don't know enough about horses to know what that is, but I'm a little dubious that giving them some medicinal herbs would have ever had like a real effect. Proper treatment, however. We need to collect some Epona grass. Epona grass. It's a little on the nose. Some plants with yellow flowers in the southern region of the highlands. Shouldn't have too much of an issue. Okay. In terms of how many I need, 5. Cool. Okay. Turning over a new leaf started. Alright. So he's not a shop then? I thought we'd be able to buy something from him, you know, medicine. Cool. Alright, so we have the trading post and the elder's house still. Still a couple people milling about. Okay. Such an interesting little area. There's the truck they were talking about. So they have just one vehicle. I guess transporting around... I was going to say gas, but they don't have gas. I guess maintaining it is probably a bit difficult, like keeping like mechanical tools and the like. Ooh, a photographer. Plenty of photo quartz with me. So quartz is also like film? Gotta be another visitor. Good day. We do stand out. We're all in uniform. Norton, a photographer from the Imperial Chronicle. Okay. Staying at Elder Ivan's house for a while now. What's a while? Like a week? 2 weeks? I would imagine it can't be that long. He's just standing outside taking pictures directly outside that building. Run into somebody from... I mean, why wouldn't you? I assume. Yeah, I mean... kind of self-evident, isn't it? Visit places I really want to take pictures of whenever I can. I mean, is that... If you're a photographer, that's sort of a thing to do, right? What a weird coincidence you coming here at the same time as us. Is that what that is? Perhaps the wind willed it so. Oh. Well, I mean, nice little interaction here. Keep an eye out for Norton again if we ever run into him. But with our penchant for traveling, I'm sure there's a possibility we cross paths. Oh, Elder Ivan. An old lady Jetta. Just old lady. That's... She's not also an elder? Yeah, I was gonna say. Very, very, homey. There's a lot of, hospitality? That's the word? Not be here long. Hope we learn much about the people of Nord. Yeah, as much as we can, anyway. It's a little naive to think that we could learn a lot in, like, 2 days' time, but, you know, we're gonna put the effort in to get as much information as we can. Very nice. Find a facility for orbital maintenance here. Feel free to use it as much as you need. That's interesting. I would assume they would keep that kind of stuff for the truck at some point. Someone come out here specifically to set this up? You'll see soon enough, I guess. Okay. Thank you very much. It's interesting whenever elderly people are depicted as being very good judges of character, because that's definitely something that like comes with experience. It's a hard skill to pick up without time. Alright, yeah, so if we want to do any modifications or customize weapons, here's where we're going to do it. Speaking of, let's check on everybody's slots here. We're pretty well opened up, actually, all things considered. Chat with everybody here. Hello, Elder. Life here may be a bit inconvenient for you all, but I'm confident you'll learn much from the experience. Well, we've left Lycan in charge of your field study. Lacan, please feel free to come to us should you need anything. Okay, well, I mean, I wonder if Gaius's father was the first one that was approached about setting everything up. People of Nord believe in the power of ancient spirits. Ancient spirits remains in this land. Those spirits form the wind which guides our people. The megaliths found through the land are relics of the age of spirits. That's super interesting. Megaliths. I assume they mean the big stones? Or like some sort of structures. We'll have to keep an eye out for that, but are relics of the age of the age of spirits. So is that like a pre-human situation, or make no mention of when exactly this age was? That's also super cryptic. What an interesting story. Yeah, I mean, that is definitely cool. The finest warrior. Okay. Great deal of gratitude. I'm sure that there will be much of you can learn from the tasks he has set. Feel free to stop by should you ever need anything, however. It's super interesting. Like, there's a... So warrior, the fact that they identify that means that there's some value to warriors, which makes sense, right? We obviously know Gaius knew how to fight, so before coming to the school, so stands to reason.
You have an orbital truck here?
Looks like an old model Rhineford truck.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
Rhineford logo.
It was donated to the settlement a few years ago.
Ooh, donated. It's super tall. Like, ridiculously so. But that's okay. Always super interested. So it's got the Rhineford logo on it. Such a weird design. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a truck. It's not that complicated, really. But it's donated. It's interesting. Who gave it to them? Our settlement's store. They've recently started selling Erebonian weapons and tools from the Zender Gate to hunt with. So for a nomadic settlement that moves a lot, wouldn't you not want to have that kind of goods? Just because transporting them would be kind of a pain? Maybe that's why they got the truck. Things to think about. Seem to have a wealth of traditional accessories and ornaments from Nord too. I guess it sort of works, since they need to run a store probably no matter what for, like, I don't know how much tourism they could possibly get, but might come back myself. Pretty sure I'll be able to find a nice souvenir. Oh? And who exactly are you sending that souvenir to? Oh. Oh. Why would Elisa be, like, react this way, essentially? Good to get on her good side for once. I mean, that makes sense. Plus, you're traveling all over the world for school. You'd think you'd be picking up souvenirs for the family and everything. Otherwise, you know, they might resent you a little bit for it. One moment here. Rarely get to see each other anymore since she started attending St. Asteria. We've heard that name before when they were talking about the noble, one of the noble daughters from one of the guys in the Breahard restaurant. I believe it was it Bridget? It was the girl who runs the lacrosse team. Her father was saying that he would have preferred she go there because there's more like nobles. Seems like it's like a noble specific school. Oh, yeah. I guess it doesn't come up that often. Makes sense they'd forget. I'm somewhat jealous that she has such a thoughtful brother. Interesting. We still don't know very much about Emma. I would assume she's an only child. It's hard to say. Is 4 people a lot? I guess for a community of like 15. Yeah, it's definitely a change of pace. We've not been very welcome everywhere else we've gone. Kilt, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, she put in a request. We even traded with people outside the settlement. That said, the delivery I want to make isn't really related to any of that. Do you have any time to do it right now? I mean, we're going to be traveling, running around on horseback anyway. Riding around on horseback, I should say. Really helping me out here. The Imperial Army Watchtower, okay. Fresh cheese made from our sheep smoke. There's some cured and smoked sheep meat. Deliver food. All of which is made here. I mean, that makes sense. It kind of goes both ways. You want the locals to like you as an occupying army, and also as the locals, you don't exactly want the Imperial Army to dislike you. Fair enough. I guess they probably also provide some level of protection over the area as well. Soldier named Zatz should be standing at the entrance of the watchtower, so hand it over to him. Alright. Alrighty. Got some more horses over here. I think these are the horses we're riding. Can I talk to them? Obviously, I don't mean like chat. I just mean sometimes you can interact with the animals, sometimes you can't. Alright, so we're supposed to go to the South Nord Highlands. We're not supposed to go to the North ones yet. Do we have any money? A little bit. Let's actually go back into the store here and see if maybe there's something we can buy. Hello. Oh, weapons. Ooh. Is there any big upgrades? Everything seems to be about a 40. Oh my goodness, that's a huge upgrade for Eustace. He needs that. Everything else seems like about 40 or 50 additional attack. At least he gets a pretty big bonus, but it affects her art strength, which is kind of questionable for me. She loses 10 to gain a little bit of physical attack. I think it's probably still worth it. Reen. Speed. I'd like to try and get that back up. We're out of money again. I don't know what hard mode affects. I didn't really look all that much into it, but just looking back at my previous experience playing this game, I think it must affect how much money you have, because I feel like when I was playing through the game before, buying stuff was so much easier. But ride out into the southern region? Why not? We're ready. Let's get started. Press the circle button to dismount. Okay. Navigation menu. In order to enter combat with monsters, select run into the horse or approach them and press the X button. Okay. So there weren't monsters before or chests. The area was completely empty. Now the place is littered. There's so much stuff here. Alright. So we gotta go to the top of that. We gotta go over to this corner. We got that must be all the plants. We need to go to the gate, and we also need to stop by the watchtower. So I think what we're gonna do go up here, grab this chest that you see here. Grab the mark there. We're going to make our way all the way around clockwise. And then come back. I think that's what we're up to. That means we got some fighting to do, and probably a lot of it, so... It's going to be most of this stream, I suspect.
Be careful, everyone.
Sand attack. Oof.
Go!
Oh, I haven't linked or anything. Let's grab Gaius here. Get in there. Hopefully the enemies aren't too difficult in this area.
Now's our chance.
We can get some, like, a pretty considerable amount of experience and grinding done in this area. Not that I'm going to make a concerted effort to grind, but...
Oh no, you don't! Stop right there! Molten Rain!
It at least is a new ability.
All right.
Not particularly damaging, but, you know, it's there. What was I saying? Oh yeah, that we're not gonna put a ton of effort into grinding necessarily, but I am gonna try and probably make my way through here where I fight everything.
Now! I've got you!
Just to get as much experience as possible, since we've kind of been struggling lately, and I think it might be because
Here we go.
we're just not getting enough money or
There.
resources, and a good way to mitigate some of that's going to be through experience.
Right.
Just means we might be a little
I
chill.
can do this.
This stream, not a lot to talk about with us just kind of making our way through here fighting. Oof,
Leave it to me.
that's hurt.
There. Now.
That was really taking some hits
This isn't
here.
looking good.
Can you Serene Blasting yourself? You can't? Okay, Tira.
Arcus, activate.
It's expensive, but
No.
at this point your health's so low it doesn't really make much difference. Might as well get it back to full.
My turn.
You just will not leave her alone.
I can do this. Fire!
All right. We're open.
Just doesn't make sense to use anything
my turn.
special here. We're just gonna beat him until he dies.
Go. We'll cut our own path.
Got the whole team here. I just love the poses. I think it's hilarious. Alright.
I figured there'd be monsters around. Be careful, everyone.
So I'm
Got it.
I'm pretty sure if you press X at the right time, you get an advantage.
We have the advantage.
Yeah, okay. You gotta press it while the circle's on screen.
There. Go. Here.
It's my turn.
Relax our way through here. Fighting anything and everything that gets in our way.
Leave it to me.
They got all three. That's kind of surprising, actually.
It's my
Ooh,
turn.
0 arts. Demonic Sight is the most powerful spell. I don't think even that's all that strong. Yeah, that's 1,000 damage.
All right.
That's not bad.
We're open.
Yeah.
Ooh, Reen is getting a little beat up over there. Let's go heal
Hear
him.
me.
Thanks.
Ow.
I can do this.
These are
Now.
strange enemies.
I'll help.
It's my turn.
Also gotta remind myself to scan them all. Probably be
My turn.
important here. Ooh, we got the freeze.
I can do this.
Need him to not die.
Now.
So we're gonna wait on that.
All right.
Ooh,
Yeah.
you
Analyzing
scan
the
him.
enemy's vitals.
Before I forget. Now there's so many enemies around here. I'm
I've got
sure
it.
I'll have an opportunity to scan everything. I just will forget for extended periods of time. A winged snake. I mean, that's what it is. It's a snake with wings. Although they have weird axe things on their tails. A winged snake that flies around the Nord Highlands. People of Nord fear the poison from its fangs. I mean, I'm more afraid of the weird axe. Is it a tail?
Here we go.
Is it really?
Okay, it's safe for
I'm
now.
pretty sure it's called a snake's tail, obviously, but it's a little hard to explain since obviously the
Feel like I'm going
entirety of the
stronger.
snake's body is nondescript in that way. So these must be the things we're looking for here. The Epona grass. Pulled it out. Alright. Well then, one down. I
Let's
think
get
they
going.
clearly put this one here just so that you'd be able to get sort of a sample of what they look like. You can also see behind me the enemies respawn, so I'm not going to make an effort to fight them both ways, I don't think, but
If it's a fight they want.
apparently I didn't hit the button fast enough. My bad.
Leave it to me. Whirlwind! To me! They're open!
Got it.
I can do this.
Okay.
Oh no, you don't. Stop right there.
Molten Rain.
Molten Rain. Now, I'm up.
More rushes.
Understood. There. Yeah. Okay.
The lady's putting in work around here.
Now.
Some Demon Scythe on a 0 arts. Why not? Got 2 kills. I'll take that.
Go.
Alright.
That's that. Let's keep moving.
The wind's behind us. Let's go!
Go.
Ooh, 0 arts turn right at the start. Fortuna, I guess?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, it doesn't make much difference, really, but
Arcus, activate.
I was looking
Alright.
for some sort of cheap spell since I just buffed for art strength anyway.
Now!
Got it.
I can do this.
Did I end up scanning these things yet? A relative grasshopper. A grasshopper isn't a bunny. Okay. A relatively docile monster that subsists off grass, or so you think until it kicks sand in your face. Somebody had a really good time writing all of these. Somebody had too much fun.
I'll help. Now.
That's actually really good damage. Wow.
You're mine.
Counter? Ooh. Got him.
My turn.
Arc slash, it's both. Why not?
Ta!
Oh, and you kill both of them.
Okay, it's safe for now.
Clean. Sneak our way up here. Grab this grass. We got a looks like a scary chest over there.
Let's get going.
Oh, that's not what I wanted. Grab these. Why give me the option?
Let's get going.
That seems kind of weird to me. Why is that an optional thing?
Oh, there's...
Now's our chance. Let's
Oh
get
my
'em.
goodness, there's a lot of enemies
Here we
here.
go.
Guess we go for the arc slash for the delay.
Ta!
Got freeze.
It's
I'll
my
take
turn.
that. Molten Rain hits 4. Why not?
Oh no, you don't. Stop right there. Molten Rain. Go.
Figure I should make sure to keep Gaius in the party here. Some of these ladies are, or some of really everybody has kind of gotten a lot more screen time than him, so I'm trying to make sure Gaius is sticking out here.
Alright. Whirlwind! To me! They're open!
Heck yeah, rush.
Leave it to me. Here we go.
Got the blind. Solid.
There. Ta!
Autumn leaf cutter.
Go.
Here!
So much sand kicking.
You're mine!
Okay. Gleaming blades. Go.
Leave it to me.
I can do this.
Let's get used.
Sorry, would you mind?
I'll show you how it's done.
Drop a rune blade, why not? That is
Here we go.
literally no damage. That's a little... It's a little concerning.
You're mine.
Guys, putting in work over here. That thing is blind, so the fact that he's able to dodge it's pretty good, but
It's my turn. Now.
getting a bunch of counterattacks in, no complaints here.
Go.
Alright. One more dodge. Ah, he took the hit. Dang.
It's my turn. Arcus, activate.
Ow. Reen's taking a lot of damage here.
Now.
I'll handle this.
Now, how much damage do you do? None. Okay, cool. Just miss. That's
All right.
That's fine too. I didn't need to know use this. That's not a big deal.
Okay, it's safe for now.
All right. Yes, use this is fine on levels. At least it's level 25, which is why I think it makes sense to swap her out.
A matter of course.
Use this just hit 24. Okay. Save. All right, let's heal actually before we run in here and die. Up here. Okay, I think everybody else is healthy enough. Let's get in here.
If it's a fight they want.
Oh my goodness, I was not expecting a boss. Okay, Rhino Cider. There's also a Thunder Loach. I don't know what that is. Okay, well, when in doubt, go big, in my experience, against big fights like this. So we're going to go Crystal Saber, because it's got a huge range. Hopefully we can thin them out a little.
You're in the shoe. Crystal Saber.
There we go.
Here we go.
Got rid of a lot of small fry. Throw out an Arc Slash, which catches one of the guys in the back. Perfect. Get a link attack. Oh, he
It's my
froze. Oh, this is going as cleanly as it can. Let's even, since I got a free moment here,
Analyzing
let's
the
scan the
enemy's
Thunder Loach.
vitals.
Why not? What does this thing look like?
I've got it.
An infant fish capable of producing electricity with its feelers. It may be young, but it is still deadly. So there are bigger versions of this, like adult versions, one would
It's
guess.
my turn.
They're open.
Rush.
Right.
Oh my goodness, he's tanky as a
Go.
little ridiculous. Okay. Keep arc slashing, why not?
Go.
Oof.
Here.
So many links though.
It's
Working
my
so
turn.
well. I'm trying to
Gleaming
finish off this
blades.
thing here in the back.
Go.
Yeah, that
Here
one
we
just
go.
does not do any damage. At least not with like arts or crafts. Or sorry, crafts.
Now's your
Arts
chance.
specifically should do plenty of damage. Which is where we really need to focus on.
All right.
Okay. Gale Stinger. Making use of our
Now. Got it.
position to shoot out a bunch of lines. Oh my goodness,
I'll
getting
handle
2
this.
finishing blows in a row is awesome. Alright. So this thing is just on its way out here. We're gonna airstrike. Hopefully it does damage. I didn't actually check. That's not that
My
bad.
turn.
Did we scan this thing? We didn't. Slashing.
Now's our chance.
We're not gonna rush, because I don't want to risk killing it.
My turn.
We have all the
Yeah.
time in the world, because it's still
Analyzing the
frozen.
enemy's vitals.
Alright, big guy. What do you got to tell me?
All complete.
Rhino Cider. A monster covered by hardened skin. Its powerful charge attacks are strong enough to topple orbital cars. Well, I mean, that would make sense. The thing looks like it weighs like a ton.
Leave it to me.
There. Here we go.
Keep hitting him. He'll be dead soon. In fact, he'll die to the freeze.
That's that. Let's keep moving.
Oh my good. So many buffs. Vanquisher, unscathed, double teamed. We got all that experience. No U material though. That's kind of unfortunate. Anything that drops U material, you want it to, because you want to. It's I don't know that it's technically supposed to be upgrade material, but for all intents and purposes, that's what U material means. All right, so we just got a quartz, a fancy red one. What does it do? What does it do? Suzaku. Arts and crafts conceal or burn enemies. Okay. I think that might go there. I just really love having Reen's attacks just cause a bunch of nonsense ailments. So like right now, the fact that we have mute, freeze, and poison, each at 10%, is certainly worthwhile. And once we get this slot open, we can add in burn and then maybe make use of that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and make our clockwise rotation around the Nord Highlands. Leisurely ride. This area kind of reminds me of when the game opens up in Final Fantasy
Very
XIII
well.
on
I will
Grand
serve as your
Pulse.
opponent.
My turn.
Just as a small anecdote. It's always interesting when games kind of open up, where you just get like a big open area, where you didn't really have access to that before.
Okay.
It's obviously a common trope in a lot of RPGs that you reach a point where
I'll handle this.
suddenly you have access to the world proper.
Now.
Now, in this case, obviously that's not what's happening. We can't just travel from
It's
place
my
to
turn.
place at will, but just getting this big open area and being told,
We're
go
unbeatable.
do it. Go find everything. Go do all these things strewn about really far apart. Really kind of adds a sense of scale to the adventure that we didn't really have previous to this, because before we were just traveling to random cities via train. But now we had to take this really elongated trip just to arrive in the middle of, you know, nowhere, essentially.
Let's get this over with.
Ride around out in
Here we
fields, killing monsters. Like the good old days.
Try not to overexert yourself.
Don't worry about me.
Love getting to see the little
Feel like I'm
interactions
going
between the two.
stronger.
I got U material out of that.
Nice.
That's awesome. Alright. So we got the big guy over there in the middle of the field. Not really any reason to go into that corner, but we are going to do that anyway, just to kill everything. But first, let's run over and deal with this big guy. What I think we're going to do...
That looks like a strong one.
Oh.
Be careful.
Don't chase me. No. Okay. Turn around. Thank you. He's stuck on the horse. Perfect.
This will
Can I
take
get an
everything we
advantage?
have.
Only single. Wow.
My turn.
I wasn't sure if I could get a bigger advantage. He's huge, so it's not really surprising that I can't. So what are you working with? A couple of guys hiding behind him. Hit all three. Didn't get a freeze. Now
It's my turn.
he's still quite dangerous. We didn't really deal with him properly last time. Let's go Frost Edge. Oh, I can hit all
Focus
three. Perfect.
activate.
I'll handle this.
Art defense would be good to lower.
Be gone.
Even if it doesn't do damage, just lowers his art defense, which is big. Turbulence, same idea. We can hit all three.
Whirlwind. To me. Now.
Finish off those things.
Now.
Got the Frost Edge. No freeze.
Here we go.
Okay. I think we're probably just gonna risk it and take the hit from him and see what it looks like. Use this as a little bit concerning.
Okay.
So we're gonna Serene Blessing
Hear
him
me.
and then see what this counterattack looks like.
Thank you.
Weak. Leave it to me. There.
Very well.
Alrighty. Rapid Rapid slash? Rapid thrust. I just want to call it rapid slash. There's only the one slash.
My turn.
Okay. I had to kill this thing. It's somewhat important that it gets out of the way. And it won't die.
It's my turn.
That's okay though. I'm gonna go poke it in the back. Cool.
Go.
Now we start laying into the big guy.
Gaius. Right.
It's my turn.
Firebolt. Oh, it's crit?
Yeah.
Ooh. Some good
I'll
damage.
handle this.
What is he weak to anyway? Wind? Oh. Interesting. Airstrike?
Leave it to me.
Not ideal, but not bad either. We got crit, so we gotta use it.
Now.
Ow.
Here we go.
So it does hurt, but for some reason it only hits one target,
It's
so
my turn. Arcus.
not nearly as dangerous as it would have
My
been
turn.
if that were not the case. But for now, we're probably just gonna grind him down. He doesn't really have a whole lot of answers. Plus, he's kind of switching targets, which is perfect for me. It's really the worst thing that can happen when one of the enemies just fixates on one person.
We'll cut our own path.
Because we don't really have like a tank, strictly speaking.
Let's
So
get
there
going.
isn't really somebody who can just take the aggro and just keep getting hit. Everybody's got a relatively similar set of stats in that respect. Everybody just sort of takes a lot of damage. That's where I'm at this point. Drop a couple Tira bombs here. Let's go clean out this corner here and kill off some enemies.
The wind's behind us. Let's go.
Single
My
advantage.
turn.
Cool. Autumn Leaf Cutter. -4? I can.
There.
Perfect.
My turn.
Even if it's not on a bunch of damage, the fact that it hits 4 targets is just awesome.
Arcus, activate.
Working
Yeah.
exactly as intended.
It's my turn. Whirlwind.
Turbulence.
To me. We're open. Go.
Okay.
Now.
So Spark Arrow. Not really sure that's wind. Definitely looks like lightning bolts.
Oh no, you don't.
Ooh.
Go.
Haven't seen a cover. Yeah, so that's what cover looks like when it goes off.
There.
I want to finish that other guy off.
Okay.
Get that kill. I'm
Gleaming
gonna use
blades.
Ethereal Edge just
Go.
for the sake of it.
I'll handle this.
Ooh, they are very close together.
Be gone.
Leave it to me. Whirlwind. To me.
I was gonna say, I wish I could say there's more going on here, but for the most part, it's
You're mine.
one of those sections in the game.
Together,
I think it's really
we're
the only
unbeatable.
section of the game like this that I can think of where you just have this massive open area filled with enemies and are told just go to town. But because unlike a lot of the dungeons, it doesn't really have the same sense of progression, so to speak. It just sort of is a big open area.
Go. Here.
My turn.
Leave it to me.
But we're gonna do our best to just grind our way through this whole area,
Whirlwind.
kill everything, do all the quests.
To me.
Okay.
Anybody watching after the fact, good for them. You can probably
Arcus, activate. Now.
hop around a little bit. I still don't see the flip. It's called Thunder Flip. No flip. Just thunder.
You're mine. My turn.
Okay. At least I am happy that the enemies are not too dangerous. In a big open area like this, where you're just fighting enemy after enemy after enemy.
Yeah.
I find the kind of grindy experience for a lot of RPGs kind of
Stay
cathartic
alert, everyone.
when it's sort of relaxed and just
A matter
as long
of
as you're
course.
doing things, as long as you're not making like egregious mistakes, you're not going to get just pummeled. Because when you encounter a scenario like this where there's just a big open area and every single enemy in it is like liable to one-shot you, it just feels awful. Whereas right now it's just, you know, nobody's particularly dangerous. I still have to pay attention. They'll still kill me if I just, you know, laze around, but
Is this the way to the watchtower?
Yeah, just keep heading along this path.
I'm interested actually. Do we talk about this if we get off? What is this? Statue? Some sort of monolith?
Let's get going.
I'm always super interested in environmental storytelling. So in this case, like, we can clearly say there was some sort of man-made structure here. It's not really obvious if it was like a lot of people ascribe meaning of like religious meaning to monoliths and like structures like this. But it could just as easily have been like constructed as like just a marker, like a waypoint. But it's interesting that it is there because it implies some sort of older environment or older community that would have put it there. That guy's like hidden right in the grass there. I didn't even see him.
There.
Yeah, so it just kind of adds a bit of intrigue to the environment
handle
because we
this.
don't really. Obviously, we've heard all kinds about these so-called
It's my turn.
former or Dark Age civilizations, but nobody really seems to know a whole lot about the time frame.
Very well.
There's a lot of reference to it, but nobody really ever says. It's just, it was before the era that we have history of.
We're unbeatable.
But how long it was, when it happened really, we don't know all that well.
Yeah.
The Imperial Watchtower. We've arrived. Yeah. Was that... I wonder if that's a funding thing or maybe a peacetime decision? Well, I mean, got big pillars and spikes and stuff. Okay, it's new. 3 years ago. Out of place. I guess it's an interesting thing to say, that it appears out of place. Let's ride our horse on in here and hop off. Hello, sir. Private Manning. This book in one of the boxes I was moving around earlier. It's such a shame to toss this. Why don't you take it? Ooh. The way we end up with all the Red Moon Rose books is so weird to me. They just kind of fall into our lap. But we're up to 6. You can read them, I believe. Books. Red Moon Rose. They are in here. We'll do that one day. I promise. Promise I will take the time and properly record me reading all of the books in the game. What was that? I guess there's got to be these little things floating up in the air. Jeez, look at this.
That's... It looks like a Calvard military base.
Oh, it's an airbase.
It is. This area kind of acts as a buffer zone between the two countries.
What a view. So is this also part of the Nord Highlands down there? Because it looks like obviously it's a lower land, but there are like mountains and stuff. How far away is all that? The fact that we can make out buildings and stuff. These mountains look kind of small by comparison. But then there's even more way in the distance. Still though, quite the view. Getting to see way the heck out there. And then we just got this big outpost built pretty clearly to stare right at this military base. Definitely some tension. I also like just the kind of tire marks and scrapes all along the ground here. It shows there's a lot of traffic here, which is kind of odd Because if the place was built recently, you wouldn't expect to see this much wear and tear already. Private Roan. Rowan? Nothing unusual on the Republican front. Oh, you must be the students we were told to expect. Oh, they were expecting us. Okay. Try to stay out of it. He doesn't even want to offer information, really. Just telling us, hey, don't ask too many questions. I have a lot of questions, actually. Obviously, there's some military tension between Calvard and Erebonia, so that's not really... It's not surprising they would have this outpost. It's just strange that it looks so active. Private Zats. You are indeed, I hope, the guy we're looking for. The one and only. Yeah, we got food. Please tell me it is. Oh, he's excited. Are just about the only thing we look forward to out here. Is it not a good time working at the outpost? Since you come all the way out here, how about I show you a view from the top? Might be useful for your field study. Hey, I'm down. Let's get up there. Are you sure we're allowed? No problem. Besides, Lieutenant General Zex said to do what we could to make your stay a good one. Oh, we'll have to thank him for that later. I mean, that's awesome. We get to see... I mean, realistically, like, what's it gonna hurt? We can already see the base. Going all the way up there to see it. At this point, it's just a little nice excursion. That's the one, though, as you can tell, it's not exactly a massive outpost. Oh, so that base, that's a small base. Okay. Okay, so Calvard's main... It's interesting that he would give us this kind of information, so it must be at least relatively easy to know, or Zats is just really loose-lipped. But... So Erebonia is building up their armor divisions, right? We see purchasing of a lot of tanks from the noble faction and things like that. And then obviously they mentioned that the Erebonian army also has a lot of tanks. It's interesting. So Calvard here, the bulk of their forces are made up of armor, tanks, right? So they don't do hot in the highland terrain, which makes sense, right? Tanks struggle in a lot of mountains. Tanks are really best suited to wide open fields and cities. And even in cities, they have issues of proximity, so... That they built the base up here anyway, just to keep up appearances. Well, I'm sure it's there because there's a Erebonian base here, and vice versa, right? At the end of the day, they need to have a base here if both sides don't like each other. It's like a staring match between two stubborn children. That's a interesting way to put it. Yeah, that's pretty spot on. Still, lately we've had airships from both armies cruising around here, so we can't let our guard go down too much either. Okay. So, what this also kind of says to us, though, is that they are letting their guard down. Like, there's a mutual understanding from both nations that they don't really want to fight each other. Like, they don't like each other, and they're not really going to help necessarily, but you kind of get the impression that there's not a lot of actual impetus to fight. Just sort of a generalized tension you see between two major or large countries. I mean, even small countries. Again, we don't know how big Erebonia is as far as the world at large is concerned. But a lot of airships, though. That's interesting. The chance of anyone starting a war in a place like this is pretty much near zero. Anyway, relax and enjoy the view while you're here. Chance like this don't come along every day, after all. Hey, man, I appreciate getting to take a nice view. Ooh. Erebonian wine. Okay. That makes sense. I mean, she's giving you food and everything, and you're like, look, I mean, we're a military... like, as far as the military base goes, I doubt he has a lot of, like, commodities or just, like, general niceties to give her, so... Wine, probably something he could acquire reasonably and give it to her. And something she wouldn't normally get. Ugh. The headphone wires, they're getting in the way. Alright. Can I go in? No. The map doesn't have an indicator for a door, but I want to check anyway. You say anything different now that that's really stopping such a slacker. I can hear him yawning all the way over here. We're soldiers, so we should behave a bit more like it. There's definitely something to be said for, regardless of how boring or mundane or minor your position is, as far as military goes, you never want to be fully relaxed. See the Republican Army base off in the distance. It's worth taking a look at. Hey.
Let's get going.
It's interesting that nobody that we just met, right? Nobody said anything negative, right, about Calvard or anything about tension, or they were just like, yep, we're here, they're here. You know, base moves back and forth. Like, this is what we're here for. You can see their base over there. I just find that kind of dynamic super interesting when you're trying to piece together how they set up the story for the whole world building aspect. The idea that we obviously have heard mention of a lot of conflict,
All right.
but and also they did pretty explicitly say that they were at war at one point. So the fact that now they're on such sort of relaxed terms
This is it.
seems
Use this.
like quite the change. It seems like quite the change, yeah.
It's my turn.
Alright. Finish this thing off.
I'll handle this.
Continue our
Yeah.
run around.
Weak. How pathetic.
Oh, there's a chest over here. Let's go get it. Soft sole. Shoes? Soft stole. I don't know what that is. Look it up eventually later, I guess. Comes to think of it, everybody has, yeah, accessories and everything. Are we good on equipment? Yeah, okay. No problems there.
Let's get going.
So there's what? 2, 3, 4. We were told to get 5 of them. But there's quite a bit more than that. Maybe that's why they ask if you want to pick it out, because you get to be kind of picky about which ones you actually take.
Let's get going. Now's our chance. Let's get him.
Just cycling through here. Alright, cool. Oh, another big guy. Now, I wonder if we can approach him from behind to get the advantage.
This will take everything we have.
Oh, we did.
Here we go.
Cool. It's really what I wanted out of this area, was just to be able to relax and get my grind on. I miss grinding sometimes in RPGs. I realize a lot of people don't like it, but I'm of the belief that it's kind of relaxing. Oh, and we got a new ability. Restore CP when HP is low. 50 once per fight when HP goes below 20. So I kind of love the Master Quartz system, because it kind of is an interesting characterization, right? So Reen here, for killing enemies, restores CP, right? He gets 15 CP per killed enemy now. Obviously he always got, I think it starts at like 5 and then increases with each level. But the idea that he defeats an enemy and gets to just keep using all of his crafts, and it sort of makes Reen like a very skill heavy character. Like you tend towards doing that for him. And then restore CP when HP is low, he gets 50, and it's like, hey, when he's gonna get low, he gets to pull out all the stops and do one last, big attack. And you have something like Gaius here. Begins the battle with insight status. Lasts for 3 turns. Like he's comes in relaxed, prepared, ready, and insight allows him to score like critical hits really effectively. Use this same idea. Art strength, right? Fee gets speed. Just interesting that they sort of tie into the character and using game mechanics to kind of support the characterization you're going for.
Let's get this over with. Go!
I think it really helps,
Go!
especially because it allows you to sort of organically create certain events happening.
Leave it to me.
Like, it allows you to passively create a situation in which Reen getting low allows him to, you know, turn a fight where he otherwise wouldn't be able to. And it's simple enough to just add that as a mechanic, but it does a lot to the feeling of the story
Here we go. Very well.
through just a minor touch-up to the actual game mechanics in combat.
Together, we're unbeatable.
Which I know a lot of people have an issue with, the separation between combat and the regular gameplay of a lot of JRPGs in particular. Obviously, we encounter an enemy in the field and get teleported to this like nebulous fighting area in which we fight off the enemies and then go right back to... And there's sort of that separation. I don't think there needs to be a lot of change to the way that that mechanic works, but like integrating the two of them a little better
Wind's behind us. Let's go.
to where the combat really feels like characterized by each individual and their personality type and like what factors into their skill set. And like it's a level Crescent Shell. Strengthens allies with the Crescent Moon effect. 50% defense and magic reflect. Okay. Wild Rage. Cries out in wild anger, trading HP for CP. Loses 30% of his health, but gets 50% CP. That's super interesting, actually. That's exactly what we were talking about. Like, skills, right? So, the fact that Emma gets the ability to protect her friends, right? So that's pretty normal. Not, like, all that complicated by any means. Crescent Shell, right? She protects her friends. But Wild Rage, for somebody like Gaius, is super interesting. So, we've never seen Gaius angry in the story. So it's interesting that he has an ability called Wild Rage. Is it out of place, or is it like a hint at his character development, maybe? And yeah, I was just saying, he only had 100 CP, so I wasn't 100% sure if that was going to do enough damage, but clearly not a problem. Grab all this Epona grass. I think we're at 4 now?
Let's get going.
Almost done. I think that was the same enemy I just fought, so we're going to move right along. Okay. We are going to clear all the treasure in the area, no matter what, so we're going to make the full rounds, even if we get all the grass that we need. But onwards and upwards. Okay, so everything else requires me to go around that way. There's a chest in that corner, and that corner. So I think we're going to hug the left-hand side, go up to the gate, and then continue to hug the left-hand side all the way around. We can fight that guy on the way back. What is that? What are you? Are you moving? No? Oh, apparently you are.
Now's our chance.
Get behind it. Alright, cool. I really need to heal. I'm just still putting it off. So they're straight up just called ostriches. Okay. Fine by me. I can get behind that. Simple names. So, Mr. Ostrich, what do you got for me?
Arcus, activate.
Yeah.
Drop a detector.
Analyzing the enemy's vitals.
Okay.
All complete.
A strange bird that races around on non-paved plains. Its breath allows it to petrify its prey. So isn't this like a cockatrice more than an ostrich? It's petrification, certainly sounds like it.
All right.
All right. Let's go turbulence.
Whirlwind. To me. We're open.
Do I got a blind? Both of them. Cool. Golden sphere. Hopefully this does its job. Not much in the way of damage, but you know, it's there. It wasn't 0, so
My
I
turn.
think I'm gonna
I leave
swap
this to
in
you.
Elisa
I'll
here.
handle this.
Save me a heal for 1, but Molten Rain.
Oh no, you don't! Stop right there! Molten Rain! Now! I'll help! Yeah!
I'll help, she says, while she throws an attack that does actually 0. Let's go Frost Edge. It's actually seeming to be pretty effective. Try and focus down the one that's less debilitated.
Leave it to me. Here we go.
Alright.
Yeah!
That's not
Leave
that
it to
bad.
me.
Finish him.
There.
Perfect.
Here we go.
Excellent.
Okay! I can do this.
It being blind worked out.
Fire!
Here we go.
At least it does do some damage, so that's not too bad.
That's that. Let's keep moving.
Okay. Hug the left-hand side and make our way around. That's
Go.
seems a bit much. Some of the spell animations feel a little out of place. Obviously it's magic, right? So it's not like it's surprising that it's like big and over the top, but it just feels like in an environment in which they have built up magic to be this sort of engineering marvel using quartz,
It's my turn.
it seems a bit over the top for a bunch of crazy swords to fall from the sky and create like a pentagram and then explode with energy.
That's that. Let's keep moving.
Like the fireballs and stuff I understand. Obviously that at least like makes combat sense if you were designing a weapon. But I'm not sure about the those knives. Tiral Balm.
Let's get going.
That's the first one we've got at that level.
Now's our... Nice shooting, Elisa. Thanks for all the help.
The high fives, though. I'm trying my best, guys. I'm trying my best to make sure we get every connection. Every pair of victory poses.
Yeah.
Alright, so... Speaking of which, we'll swap our connections around.
Well, here we are.
Back at the gate.
Let's go meet with the Lieutenant General.
But the Manster. I finish him. Alright. Stop by the gate. Should be able to rest there. Another one of these. Like, why does no one say anything about them? They do seem really old. I'd be interested to hear more about them. Maybe the Elder knows more. We can ask them later. Private Marsh. So seeing as how you all passed through here yesterday, I can probably skip the introductions. General Vander is currently inside, so we have business with him. Yeah, okay. We'll leave the horse out here.